Thank you so much, Malou. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Telephonic Finance and Audit Committee meeting for November the 7th, 2023. The time is 2 o'clock on the button. Notice of this meeting was provided to the Secretary of State as required by Texas Government Code. Please note the audio of this meeting is being broadcast live. Before we take roll, I'd like to remind everyone to please mute their phones unless you need to speak. Malou, with that, let's begin the roll call.
Thank you. And starting with you, Chair Lee.
Present.
Thank you. Regent Scott.
Here.
Thank you. And do we have Regent Long? All right. For the record, Regent Austin is absent, and I see we have Regent Flores.
Present.
Thank you. Moving to our system staff, Chancellor McCall.
Here.
Vice Chancellor Harper.
Here.
Carol Fox.
Here.
Ramona Strickland.
Here.
Sean Cunningham.
Here.
John Hayek.
Here.
Mike Winmute.
Here.
Nelly Herrera.
Here.
Kelly Winmute.
Here.
Piers Mitchell.
Here.
Derek Alexander.
Here.
Thank you. Moving to our institutions and beginning with Lamar University.
Jaime Taylor.
Mark Robinson. Kenny Rodriguez.
Spencer Sales.
Thank you. Sam Houston.
Alisa White.
And Amanda Withers.
Great, thank you. Moving to Saul Ross.
Carlos Hernandez.
Bonnie Albright.
Perfect, thank you. Texas State.
Ella Damphus.
Thank you. LIT.
Sid Valentine, Angela Hill, and Mary Wicklund.
Great, thank you. Lamar State College Orange.
Mary Wicklund and Tom Johnson.
Thank you. And Lamar State College Port Arthur.
Betty Renard and Mary Wicklund.
Thank you. And did I miss anyone? All right, that concludes roll call. I'll go ahead and turn it to you, Chair Lee.
Thank you so much, Malou. Daniel, Carol, and I had an opportunity to review the agenda prior to this meeting, and at this time, I'll turn the meeting over to Daniel, who will present the Finance and Audit Committee agenda items. Daniel?
Thank you, sir. The first item is on page 103 of the material, and it's for the Lamar State Colleges, and it's to approve 3 program fees. This is a program fee for technical programs, one for nursing testing, and one for cosmetology fee. These are on a per semester basis. The technical program is $60 per semester. The nursing testing fee is $475 per semester. And the cosmetology fee, which would only be applicable to LIT and Lamar State College Port Arthur, would be $425 per semester. This would consolidate a significant amount of miscellaneous non-mandatory fees that are associated with those programs. This will allow for some administrative ease on the institution side, but most importantly, this will allow these fees to be eligible for financial aid. We anticipate there be no material change in the cost, either positive or negative, for the students in these programs over the course of study. And lastly, with this item, there is a small technical correction to the nursing and allied health program fee that is at the 3 state colleges. The original motion approved in November mentioned semester credit hour, and it should have mentioned just semester. That concludes the layout for the consolidation of the program fees. The next item is on page 105, and it's an amendment to the 18th supplemental resolution. In 2015, the board approved a resolution to our master debt program to allow us to implement a commercial paper program. The maximum authorization that was originally provided in 2015 was $240 million. This change requests authority to increase that amount to $350 million. Then it also makes 2 other minor changes. One is it continues to extend the program to the maximum statutory authority, which is 50 years. And then it authorizes some necessary operating changes that were required by the dealer, the paying agent. They're non-material changes, they're just changes in their policies. We currently have $130 million outstanding on the commercial paper program. Our current roll rate is 380 basis points, tax exempt. And we do expect there's going to be a significant demand for this program as we increase spend on the $1.2 billion worth of active construction projects across the system.
Daniel?
Yes, sir.
Quick question. I noticed that you paid down from the time this was drafted about $40 million. Does this move a lot over the course of a year? Do you tend to have a lot of fluctuation in this paper?
So not really. Normally it's just a steady increase until we get to a point where we need to defease. So
Okay.
we had a state appropriation that is set to expire tomorrow. And that state appropriation was to make debt service on the last round of tuition revenue bond authorizations. And so we paid down that $41 million on Monday, which is what gets you from the 170 in the explanation to the current balance of 130. Yeah, I would expect that we'll see a steady increase in the use of the program until probably June of 2024, which is when we anticipate going back out to market to fix out a large portion of the projects and that will be on that CP program. So I think you'll see it steadily increase, you'll see a drop, and then steadily increase again as we work our way through the $1.2 billion of capital projects.
Perfect. Thank you.
The next three items are informational items. On page 111 is the operating budget adjustments for 2023. There's one small increase, I guess, relative to our budget. The total increase is $37 million compared to what was approved more than a year ago to a 1.77 billion. So it's right around a 2% change. The largest aspect of that 37 million is at Texas State. They made a budget adjustment to do an interim loan on the Hilltop housing construction project that's going on right now. And that was 20 million of that 37 million. Unless there's any questions on that, on page 149 are the annual foundation reports. We have 10 affiliated foundations. The total assets of those 10 are $337 million total. And you'll see in the material, it's a one-page summary that tells you the mission, or I guess the title, the mission, who the board members are, their assets, and their total revenue and total expenditure for the last fiscal year. On page 167 is the quarterly status of the implementation of the audit recommendations provided by Ms. Carol Fox. I don't believe she has any prepared remarks, but happy to answer any questions you may have on those. And if there's not any questions on the three informational items, we do have a series of items that are included on the consent agenda, which begins on page 198 of your material. The first item is at Texas State. It's an international operations fee. Texas State is asking to increase that fee to $110. And the fee supports international students, provides support services for those. The last time the fee was increased, I believe it was 18 years ago. And this brings the fee in line with other peer institutions. The next item is actually a cost reduction, and it's at Texas State. They would like to establish an online institutional services fee versus the existing, I guess you call it a general institutional services fee, given that some of the online students would not have access to some of the services that are captured in the institutional services fee. And for undergraduate students, it would be decreased to $97 per semester credit hour. And for graduate students, it would be $110 per semester credit hour. The next item is at Texas State as well. And this is an authorization to allow Texas State to move forward to purchase 2 privately owned student housing complexes. The total value is $141 million. This is associated with Texas State's ambitious goal to increase student housing to 11,500 beds over the next few years. And for, I believe, all 3 of y'all who were on the call this morning, this goes along with the approval of the design development for James Street, as well as including on the CIP authority to move forward in planning for a Hilltop Housing Phase 2. With 3 more items after that, there is an item to allow LIT to be the administrator of the Texas Connection Consortium contract. This TCC, which is the acronym for it, is a conduit that allows state higher education entities to work together with Aleutian, who's a product provider, to build out statewide solutions and statewide reports. Currently, A&M Corpus Christi has been the administrator of that contract, but as the individual at A&M Corpus Christi is approaching retirement, and as A&M Corpus Christi, along with A&M system, has been using less Aleutian products, they were looking for a new volunteer to administer the program, and LIT was willing to offer to be the administrator as they have an active role in the consortium. This is a small revenue positive for LIT, as there'll be an administrative fee that they'll be able to be reimbursed for. Next, we have the annual ratification of the tuition rates for non-credit courses at the state colleges. Approval of this item would allow the various non-credit courses that the state colleges offer to be eligible for state formula funding. And then the last item are some revisions to the bylaws for the Texas State University System Foundation. And it's just a periodic update to ensure that the bylaws reflect the current operating environment of the foundation. So, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my layout, and happy to entertain any questions y'all may have on the agenda.
Thank you, Daniel. Regis, do you have any questions for Daniel related to the items covered for the upcoming board meeting? If not, I will ask each if you are in favor of moving forward these items to the full board next week. Regent Scott?
Yes.
I don't believe Regent Austin is on, and I don't know if Regent Long, I don't think Regent Long was on either. Regent Flores?
Yes.
Okay, and I do as well. And with that, I want to thank everyone for calling in today. Unless there's any further discussion, this does conclude our telephone meeting. I look forward to seeing everybody in my hometown next week in Beaumont, Texas. And looking forward to a great time. Thank Jaime and his team, and Tom and Betty and Sid for all their hospitality as well. Look forward to hosting everybody in Southeast Texas next week. With that, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Okay.